Hello everybody and welcome back to Continue the Magic. This is our news update for the week of August 25th, and we've got a lot of exciting updates that are coming out about some of the new attractions and refurbishments that are in progress. So let's get into it. So a couple of quick things just off the bat. We did get an announcement that the Cool Kids of Summer is going to be returning in 2026. There's no details on what this means yet. But from what we've seen from this summer, it seems like a lot of dance parties, a lot of character meet and greets, just things to try and keep the children engaged while they're in the parks. There's a lot of waiting around in lines that we all know at the Disney parks, so having extra things that are engaging without that queue time, so the dance parties, having that character engagement to keep the energy level of the kids up is always good to have. So we'll see what that means for next summer, but it's nice to know that it was a success and that they're going to be bringing it back. The next is an update about the animation attraction that is coming back to Hollywood Studios. So I covered this in a different episode where they first announced it. I have really warm memories of the previous version with Robin Williams and Walter Cronkite, and super exciting news. The Robin Williams character is coming back. So they've released an updated version of the poster, and you can see him right up there at the top in his Return to Neverland outfit. So they haven't given much detail on how this is going to work yet, just that he's going to be included clearly. So when they did the Once Upon a Studio short, there was new dialogue that they had from Robin Williams. He's always been known for riffing, taking a lot of runs at something to get that kind of comedic gold that he was known for. So I'm wondering if it's a similar thing here where they have a lot of takes where he tried out different material and they might be utilizing some of that. Hopefully they once again get permission from the family that they can utilize these recorded files and we can get some brand new Robin Williams content in the parks. I would love to see him live on in there forever. The next update is about the Buzz Lightyear ride vehicles. We've now seen what these look like. So you can see the new look and design of those here. It's a little bit more vibrant than I think they were in the past. And then you can also see how the new blasters are going to be working so that we can have those in our hands and get a lot more range of motion for that game. So I'm excited to see how that refurbishment goes. I think this is going to be a real plus up for the parks. So now let's dig into some of the information we've gotten on the refurbishments or redesigns that are coming out in the parks. So we're going to start with the new Zootopia 4D movie in the Tree of Life at the Animal Kingdom. So the premise around this is that Heidi Howler, who is a wolf newscaster in Zootopia, is kind of broadcasting this event that they do once a year where they bring in all of the different regions from Zootopia to come and kind of come together and showcase their talents. So we're going to see some ice skating, we're going to see synchronized swimming. It sounds like there's going to be a mini drone show with the mice. Lots of really cute things that they can do here. It's nice to see that this space is getting a revitalization. It is a gorgeous theater in one of the coolest buildings you'll ever see. So it's getting some new life. The other cool thing is that they are bringing back some existing characters. So Nick Wilde, Judy Hopps are going to be there with the original voice cast. So they're really going all in on this. And they've announced the opening date of November 7th. So this is coming up soon, and the other thing they're doing to tide us over while we wait is they are bringing in Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps as a character meet and greet. So this is obviously going to be in that Oasis Tree of Life area to kind of promote the upcoming attraction. So great to see more character meet and greets in the parks. So the next big update is about Big Thunder Mountain. So if you're not already aware of the lore behind Big Thunder Mountain, the story here is a member of Sea, and we will get into Sea in depth on another dedicated episode, but it's the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. So Barnabas T. Bullion is one of these members. He was mining on Big Thunder Mountain and struck gold, ended up opening up a mining company to try and find his riches in these mountains. The story here is that Big Thunder Mountain started fighting back. So all of a sudden you start getting more of an ominous feeling from the mountain itself that is trying to protect itself from this mining attempt. So they're digging more into this story and they've given us this concept art of the Rainbow Caverns. So the idea here is that you're going to be going into this beautiful, welcoming, sparkling space And then all of a sudden a flash of lightning occurs and everything goes red and dark and ominous. And you can see that the mountain isn't nearly as inviting as we were thinking it was. So you'll still have the bats. Obviously, you'll recognize the show scene hasn't really changed. They're just, I assume they're going to be adding in projection mapping effects. They've already added projection mapping to other Thunder Mountain attractions before. So not surprising at all that they're kind of doing this upgrade to take this to the next level. So nothing dramatic here, but it is cool to see that they're digging even further into that story. So next is the update to the Rock and Roller Coaster with the Muppets. So I think this update was long overdue. I've always liked the ride, and I do have nostalgia for the original pre-show, but in reality, we all know that Aerosmith never really quite fit in that park. So I think this makes way more sense. So what we're seeing here is you're going to get that same pre-show area that we had before with a very similar premise, that the Electric Mayhem are in the recording studio when they're supposed to be across town playing a one-night only show. They've lost track of time and they're never going to make it there in time for the show. So the addition here is that we have 2 additional screens. So you'll see the Electric Mayhem on the main screen that we're used to. It looks like they're adding in 2 additional screens so they can bring in Kermit and Miss Piggy into this storytelling. And then the most exciting part is that they're bringing in audio animatronics. So there's going to be a scooter, and then there's going to be a bunch of penguins who are your audio engineers working in the studio. And then it sounds like we're going to get the help of Muppet Labs to kind of push up that limo and get us there in time. So I think we're going to see a lot of little cameos from all of our favorite characters here. So looks like they're putting a lot of thought and care into this. The filming for the puppeteers seems to be on the way. So I cannot wait to see the newest version of this. The other thing we learned is that they are going to be doing rock covers on the ride. So there's been this debate of whether they would use actual rock songs like they do with Guardians of the Galaxy, if they would be using original Muppet song content. And it sounds like they're kind of going in the middle where it's Electric Mayhem covers of classic rock songs. So a good balance of both, I think. It totally makes sense with the storyline. I think they're doing a really good job, and it's nice to see that the Muppets have a good home here in Hollywood Studios still. So the last thing that I want to talk about is the return of Tom Morrow 2.0. So Tom Morrow was a character, he was in Imagineer That, which was a show on Disney Channel in the early 2000s, and he was also in the Disney parks in Interventions for years. So when Interventions closed, obviously we lost him. Imagineer That was a pretty short run show, but they have brought him back in Imagineer That as a YouTube series. So Tom Morrow's 2.0 is going to be there. He's going to be interviewing the Imagineers and keeping us up to date on all of the coolest things that they're working on. So again, Disney seems to really be bringing in a lot of their history, which is honestly thrilling for me to see, that they're not throwing everything away for exclusively the newest, latest and greatest billion-dollar earners, but that they are kind of bringing in that history and honoring that in a new and fresh way. Great balance. I love it. I can't wait to see where they go with it next. So obviously D23 is happening this weekend. So next week we will be talking all about the latest announcements that came out of that. But for this week, we'll see you later.